Welcome back to the She Run Strong podcast, powered by Coach Perry. Today, another Q&A, and I absolutely love these. So we are talking all things HYROX, all things December holidays as we get into the Christmas spirit, and then a not so nice aspect, which is death in endurance sports as well. So we'll get into all of those in just a little bit. My name is Shona Hendricks. If you are new here, welcome. And I am joined by Nikki Friedman. Nikki, how are you? And talk to me a little bit about what are your Christmas plans? Do you like Christmas? Is your family a big Christmas family? What are you guys doing for Christmas?
Oh, I love Christmas. Yes, so we love our Christmas. This year we're at home normally we go up to Edinburgh. As some of you may know, I moved down from Edinburgh a couple of years ago, and so now we are down just outside London in a place called Marlow. So we are staying in Marlow this year. Normally we kind of go up, but we are staying, and I've got couple of my kids, one flying in from Spain and one flying in from Buenos Aires. So we're going to do the nice homely Christmas, and I'm just going to love seeing my kids. And we will do Christmas Day park run, which I love. I love the fact that there's more park runs over the festive season. So I can go running more. Well, we'll see what the weather holds, but I love doing more park runs, more running. How about you? What your Christmas? What's your sort of views on you're not quite the same?
I'm a little bit of a Christmas Grinch, if I'm honest.
Yes.
I'm not a massive fan. I just find it such a bit of an anticlimax, right? So, but it's yeah. I mean, those are my own Grinchness vibes. I will definitely see my dad on the day, if not the day before. On the day before, we normally go and play a round of golf, so that's always exciting. And yeah, and then might spend some time with my boyfriend's family as well, and they're going down to the coast. They have a farm down there, so might do a little bit of that. But yeah, it's generally a time I don't actually mind working over this time because everyone wants off, and so I'm like, oh, I'll do the forum on that day. That's really, we close on Christmas Day, so
yeah.
We do that. But yeah, I mean, I really don't mind working. But yeah, over this period, I mean, this is the South African kind of summer holidays, right? For those of you who don't know. So it is always nice to hang out with friends and family, and there's a lot of that. And so, yeah, definitely get in a number of rounds of golf, which would be good. Maybe some paddle, seeing some friends, lots of brides, which are barbecues for those of you who don't know, because the weather's so good. So yeah, very different Christmas to Northern Hemisphere Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only like 10 days of festive parties for us and coldness, whereas for you, it's
a whole month really of celebrating and pool parties and barbecues or brides and all sorts. So yeah, it's very different. I actually had a few friends come over from the Northern Hemisphere for Christmas to South Africa, and they really didn't enjoy it because they said, well, they enjoyed it, but they said it just didn't feel like Christmas because, you know, normally that cold kind of Christmassy feeling, and obviously that's all we've known. I mean, my Christmases growing up were pool parties with my cousins and watermelon fights, and you know, like, so so those were yeah, very different, but it's good. It is just, for me, yeah, it's less about Christmas and more about just spending some time with people. Like you say, you're going to spend time with your kids. So
yeah. Watermelon fights sound a bit brutal, I have to say.
Yeah, it's like, you know, just like once you finish the watermelon, and yeah, so you're not wasting food. Let's be specific. And with the core of it. So so no, it's just jumping in the pool and having fun. So
yeah, that's cool. Well, very different. Okay, well, look, the first question relates to this, so I'll ask away. This is from, how do I pronounce that? Liesel. Victoria. I am away on our family coastal holiday coming up over Christmas and New Year's, and unfortunately can't see myself doing too much running over this time. I am running both Two Oceans and Comrades, and she has already qualified. Lucky you, great. Should I worry about how much running or lack of running I'm going to be doing over the holiday break?
I mean, I think the key thing is that you've qualified, Liesel. So you are under a lot less pressure to keep training over this period, and so I would take that time off. Run if you want to run, do some strength work. Of course, that's going to help. Some walking will be useful, but enjoy the time off because you are going to be coming into some heavy mileage and volume come March, April, May, you know, so February probably because you're also doing oceans. And so yeah, take a little bit of time off. Don't worry about the lack of training. But like I say, if you are going to do some strength is going to be great, some walking is going to be useful. But yeah, because you've qualified, the pressure is off. Let's say if you haven't qualified, you would then probably be qualifying in February, end of Jan, Feb. So then that would be a little bit different, where I would suggest keep ticking over, just perhaps get in 1 or 2 runs. But I think, as we were just saying, it's time to spend time with family and friends, and you're going to get so much joy out of that. So I think, yeah, rather focus on that. Yeah, Nikki, your thoughts in it. I mean, we have spoken a little bit about training over the holidays before, but your thoughts on this as well?
So I agree with Shona. Enjoy the holidays. However, it's always good to keep a little bit ticking over. So I would definitely set a little kind of almost like a little base maintenance plan going, so that it's not too much of an uphill when you start back again.
Yeah.
So even keeping with the routine, say if you ran 4 days a week and did strength training 2 days a week, well, then maybe you just want to reduce the time, so you're doing kind of half an hour each day or 50% of that, or maybe you just want to go down to 3 runs a week and maybe 1 to 2 strength trainings. But I would definitely keep something ticking over, and you actually feel better on holiday. I do. I feel better, I sleep better, and I enjoy my food when I'm doing a little bit more exercise. So I would say enjoy your holidays, but keep something ticking over, so it's not too much of a uphill climb when you start back. It's also quite good for your body that way. It just reduces the risk of injury as well, I think, too. So yeah,
Yep.
and enjoy your holidays. It's exciting.
Good. Yep.
Um,
It's a good
yeah.
time. Yeah, excellent. Good question, Liesel. So yeah, I definitely like that. The next question came through in our Coach Perry forum. It's from Tamara. She's also in Tamara. She's also in South Africa. She says, I would like to hear your thoughts on HYROX training, and will that meet my strength training requirements? I'm training for 2 Oceans and Comrades as well. Can I get the HYROX coach to help adjust this training so it meets my running needs? I guess essentially what Tamara is asking is, should she be doing HYROX while training for Oceans and Comrades? Nikki, your
Very much
thoughts?
this season, isn't it? We're getting a lot of the Oceans and Comrades runners coming through. I think you said, can I get the strength coach to help adjust? You said HYROX coach.
Yeah, the HYROX coach. Yeah, her HYROX coach. Yeah.
So I
So
think what's really interesting here is HYROX training is becoming really quite a big, I wouldn't say fad nowadays. It's very much a sport in itself, and it's becoming really popular and people love it. And it's 8 kilometers of running in between different types of functional fitness exercises. And those can be ski ergs and rowing and what was it? Lunges, burpees, all that sort of stuff. So it's good stuff. It's good high intensity stuff. It's not necessarily strength training as we prescribe it in Coach Parry. So yes, it's fun, but it doesn't work well when you're training for Oceans and Comrades. So for a wee while, I would say it's fine to do. Take out the running portion if you're doing running in it. Quite often, HYROX athletes have already taken out the running portion. It's very cardio based as opposed to strength based. So take out the running portion of it when you're there. And I would use the HYROX training instead of your high intensity, your running training, which is often on a Tuesday that we schedule, and just substitute that in. So those are the first things I do to start with.
yes.
When you're training for Oceans and Comrades, it's a big volume of training that you're doing, and it does take over your life quite a lot, I think, unless you've got a lot of free time to do this stuff. But you're doing high volumes of running. The strength training is there to support, and certainly the kind of Monday strength training that we prescribe in Coach Parry is very much focused on that injury prevention, and HYROX just will not do that. So you do need to keep in some of our support your running to support your goals if Oceans and Comrades is your main goal, and it sounds like it is. So while HYROX training is fun, it might not have a place come March, April, May of this year in your training. It might be that you just need to set your focus, because also there'll be a higher risk of injury in that as well, and you just need to keep your body strong for the running. I know it seems a bit strange. I mean, HYROX does build strong, but it's very neuromuscularly fatiguing, and because of the high intensity all the time, and it's not quite building the right strength. So, yeah, that's what I would say about that. What's your thoughts there, Shona?
No, I think you're spot on. I think yeah, everything you've said. But I think the key thing is also the running portion. So whether that's that you do that with the HYROX training, just don't double up. You can't do both. You can't do both the running portion from HYROX and the running portion in your comrades plan. You're gonna have to essentially either do your high intensity running from your comrades plan or your high intensity running at HYROX. But I absolutely agree with Nikki that reducing that as your volume of running increases, I think that's absolutely key. It's just you're just setting yourself up for injury there. And it's not often we tell people not to do something that's strength orientated, but this is just different kind of strength.
Very cardio. Yeah, I mean, like the rowing and the ski erging is still very cardio based, but it's different, and the rowing is a very strength endurance based sport, so it will build you strong, but it's high intensity. So but it's fun, and I get that, and I have friends who do it and they find it very social, very fun, very friendly. A lot of the oceans and comrades is a lot of running solo on your own. The social aspect is important. It's just manage your fatigue and
exactly. And I think that's quite a key point. It is so awesome to do. So then maybe look to do that in your second half of your year after comrades. Then you can really spend all the time in the world doing HYROX and all the running and so just periodize your year. I think that's quite a key point, depending on your goals for sure.
Yeah. And as always, just make sure that you've got those recovery days in, and and like I say, don't maybe pull back on it in March and April, but it might be that even February you might need to pull back on it. So just be mindful of that. Otherwise, busy year for you next year, Tamara. Right. Okay. Next question, Sharon from Mossel Bay, South Africa. How do I pronounce it?
Yep.
Oh, there were 2 deaths in the 70.3 half Ironman at Mossel Bay event in South Africa in November. I assume that's just been then.
Yes.
What is the reason for these deaths? Can they be avoided? And is the prevalence the same in running?
If you want to recover from sessions faster, not feel tired all the time, run pain and injury free, and improve your endurance, then be sure to join me in my upcoming training specifically for female runners over the age of 45. In it, I'll share with you my simple 5-step framework that'll transform your running. Simply scan the QR code on screen now or click on the link in the description to save your seats in the training now. We look forward to seeing you there.
Okay, I don't know much about these deaths.
Yeah, so I mean, there were 2 deaths in the swim portion at the Mossel Bay event, which is the half Ironman 70.3 distance. And we hear about these often. These were 2 deaths. One, the both gentlemen, one was around 28 or 29, and one was around 58. So again, it's not necessarily that it's just older people. One of them were pulled out of the water at 400 meters and one of them at about 1 kilometer. So again, not just, very different sort of cases. And so these things happen and we read about them a lot, and it's not a nice topic to discuss, but I think it is important. And so the prevalence of someone passing away, having or dying in a Ironman event or half Ironman event is 1 in 75,000, okay, of which 72% happen in the water. In running, that is close to someone having sudden cardiac arrest, as passing away from a heart attack of sorts, is 1 in 50,000. And for me, that number is crazy. If you think about it, there are 50,000 people who run New York Marathon or London Marathon. Yep. So that's one person every 50,000 runners that is going to pass away or have an aspects of sudden cardiac arrest or a sudden cardiac attack almost. So it is an important thing to discuss. It's not nice. And I think the issue is that often we think we are invincible. This won't happen to us, but that prevalence shows that it's very, very prevalent. And so let me tackle the Ironman side of it, because it's slightly different mechanism to the running side. And so what they've sort of deduced from swimming is that these triathletes pass away from what is known as immersion pulmonary edema. Okay, so there's big words. Essentially, that just means that fluid, bodily fluid, so not water that they're swimming in, bodily fluid has seeped into the lungs, into the little sacs of the lungs, and so they essentially drown from the inside. And that is often caused. There's a big correlation between left ventricular hypertrophy, which means the left part of the one chamber of the heart is a little bit uh, more muscular or bigger, and that then just affects how the blood is pumped out, which then causes this imbalance. And very often in triathletes, that is the case because they have bigger heart muscles, and so that affects the way the blood is pumped through the heart. And so this is becoming really, really prevalent, and it's happening more and more. And in a running aspect, most of the deaths that are happening in running are because of a sudden cardiac arrest. So that's a heart attack or something. So what can we do to avoid this? What can we do to not let this happen? Absolutely go and get your yearly screen from your physician. Okay, so I'm not a physician. This is just stuff that I've read, but it is vital that you go get screened. For menopausal runners or menopausal females, the risk of cardiovascular disease increases, and so we need to make sure that we don't have an underlying risk for this to happen. So we have to go ensure that we get these checks. A lot of the times that this happens, particularly in running, the sudden cardiac arrest, is if people have a viral load and they train or exercise or race with that load. So running your race when you are sick is an absolute no-no. And trust me, I've been there. I've traveled and I've been to a race and I ran the race sick, and it's one of the biggest regrets of my life. I mean, I'm very lucky, and I was sick for 8 weeks after that. But if you are exercising with a viral infection or a viral load, that affects the heart muscle, right? The muscle's a heart. I mean, the heart is a muscle, and you can then have that viral load affect the heart, which is called myocarditis, right? So one, you have pass away, or two, it can affect the heart so badly that you never exercise again. So my biggest sort of warning here or thing to say is, A, let's go get checked. Let's go ensure that we have no underlying risk factors. And B, if you are sick, if you have some sort of illness, please do not exercise. And we say this all the time, and people are like, Nikki and Shona, they're just trying to be hard coaches. And there's a reason we say that. And please do not race, as hard as that is.
Yeah. I mean, you had to make that tough decision not so long ago to pull out of Valencia because of the training and everything, because you had been sick and you just, and it isn't an easy decision ever to make. I had it the week of Cape Town Marathon. I know it got cancelled, but I had to make that call on the Tuesday. I knew I had COVID and I had to just make that call. And honestly, I was devastated to make that call, but it is the right call at the end of the day. And you'll never know, I guess, what would have been. But training, I have been in 5 races where there have been 4 races actually, and I've been on track as well where someone's had a cardiac arrest. And it's very scary. The guy on track was 19. It can happen at any age, and I mean, at park runs now, there's defibs, so these people have survived, and the same at London Marathon. But it is something you need to take seriously and just be aware of, and know your body, I guess.
Yeah, and just trust that, well, not trust, but your body, your health is no more important than the race that you're going to run. Okay, that race is going to be there next year, and I know that's hard. I mean, I've done it. I flew to Berlin, and I was like, I'll walk the marathon, and I landed. That was my PB. Like, I mean, it was absolutely stupid. And I was very lucky. But the race will always be there, and if something had happened, then there's no more races. There's and your health just comes first. And so I know that's hard. I mean, we are all runners, but just please. So go get screened. Make sure that you have no underlying risk factors, because that is one of the causes. And then if you do have a viral infection or you're sick, please don't race and please don't train. Obviously, from a triathlete perspective, this left ventricle, they don't actually have a cause. Or way to fix it yet. So, and there's a lot of research that's coming in now from people who've done research on the Navy SEALs, because this happens to the Navy SEAls as well. So fit, strong people. So yes, a lot of people perhaps go into a triathlon maybe undertrained, and then of course you are at more risk. But they're actually saying that it's left ventricular hypertrophy, which means your heart is your heart is strong. So yeah, so it's not about whether you are necessarily undertrained or overtrained, or but yeah, so please just go get checked and screened. And yeah, it's not a great topic, I know, but
Oh,
I just thought it was
yeah.
really important for us to
Take care, peeps. Yeah.
yeah
Take
yeah
care.
to do this. Anyways, let's go on to the next question, which is from Carol, and Carol's from our Coach Perry platform as well. And Sue says, I would like to drop my 5K time by 30 seconds next year. So I'm planning to increase my base of training this winter from 21 miles per week to 27 miles per week, which is around a 30% increase. And she would like to do this over a 1 month period. So let's stop there because she's given us a whole load of other information. So she trains 4 days a week. She does do some strength training twice a week. But really, is it? She's asking, should she increase her mileage by adding another day of running, or should she just increase the day she's already running? Nikki, what is your feeling in and around increasing
Oh,
volume of mileage? Yeah, mileage. Yeah.
carefully, very carefully. So I don't know much about Carol's previous background. I can't remember much about her, but the chances are that if she has been on the Coach Parry platform, she's done a few races, so she's probably gone up and down with her volume and stuff. So I don't think 27 miles a week necessarily is that bad a volume to have. It's a good base volume, so I quite like that sort of target. I would prefer it if it was in hours. So say if it was kind of, she was going from 4 to 5 hours. But I don't know what sort of pace she runs at. So I don't know how much that actually, that's like another 6 miles, whether that's an hour for her or 75 minutes or 90 minutes, and that would matter a little bit in terms of that. I would be tempted with this to just add it on, maybe perhaps a little bit slower than 1 month.
Yes.
And just add it on just over time, a little bit slower. And I would still probably keep to the 4 month. Like I'd like the 2 strength trainings are key here. So, and she's doing 2 strength trainings. That's perfect. Then I would look to add it on to 2 of the other days, but possibly with that longer Sunday run just being elongated out. So maybe build it a little bit more on the Sunday long run or the Saturday, depending on when she does it. And then one of the other runs during the week, and just ever so slightly build and build. And I would probably look almost, of course, across, I mean, assuming that we're going to build and build and then have a deload, build and build and have a deload, probably about 6 weeks would be a better way to look at it, and just build that quite slowly. Running is always about patience. And as we said in a previous episode, that is the hard of running, is patience and just slowly building it. Consistency is always key. So if she's looking to increase her time, yes, volume is probably the best way to increase the time, but it has to be safe and your body has to be able to recover from that volume. Another good way would be to add in cross training, and you could add in an extra day with that. So you could go to 5 days with that, but add it on an indoor static bike, for example. And that could be an easier way to bump it up a little bit quicker if you're impatient. Otherwise, if it's by running, which is quite an impactful sport, I would do it a little bit more slower and a little bit more cautiously. Did I
Yeah,
miss it?
spot on. You've hit everything there. Let me just reiterate, because I think you've hit everything on the head. Is I also prefer to work in time rather than distance,
Yeah.
because I just find that if you want to increase from 21 miles to 27 miles, what's going to happen is you're going to chase that distance, and you're going to land up running a little bit faster than what you should, because you're going to constantly be chasing that. And so, yeah, absolutely. Just rather stick to hours rather than distance. But Nikki's hit the nail on the head with everything there. I have nothing else to add. And sorry, let me say, I think like Nikki's saying, 6 weeks is a more gradual approach. And if you've got time, so let's say you say you want to take this 5K time down by 30 seconds next year, there's no rush. There's no rush for us to get it done in a month. So the patience is the name of the game here. So no, Carol, I agree with everything Nikki said there, and she is spot on. So gradual is going to be better than a quicker build up with an injury looming around the corner.
Yeah. And always easy. Easy miles. Add on the easy miles.
Easy miles. Very good points as well. Yeah, we're not adding on an extra interval session, so that's also a
Yeah.
key point. Yeah, easy
I know,
miles.
because I think that's what a lot of people feel, is that they need to do more speed work, more speed work. It's like, no, it's just actually get that nice volume, nice easy miles, and that
Yes,
can really pay a lot of dividends. But the cross training could work too if you have an extra day in a gym handy and indoor static bike. Be perfect, really.
absolutely. Yeah,
So yeah, good stuff. Right, okay, next question.
good.
Ooh, rattling through. Right. Coming into the norm. Oh, it doesn't say who this is from.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
okay. That's fine. Yeah,
anonymous.
yeah,
Anonymous.
anonymous. Yes, yeah.
Well, and again,
Excellent.
the Northern Hemisphere, let's say, that sounds like maybe the UK. Certainly it's valid for us. Coming into the Northern Hemisphere winter, should I be taking in vitamin D supplement with the lack of sun exposure?
Yeah, I mean, the short answer here is yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the key thing. So, let me put it this way. So, the amounts of vitamin D, well, the amounts of sun exposure we need to get a vitamin D source is that you need 10 to 15 minutes of direct sunlight on essentially the largest surface area of your body. Um, I've been in the Northern Hemisphere. I've been in the UK in December and November and January and February, and it's not a fun place to be. It's quite I get quite bad seasonal depression as well, and so I really struggle without the sun. And so there are days, if not months, where you don't see a lot of sunlight, and so yes, you absolutely should be taking in a vitamin D supplement to supplement this or to combat this lack of sun exposure. But I'd go so far as to say that anyone who lives, or any female who's going through menopause should be taking in a, a vitamin D supplement if they don't get a lot of exposure to the sun. There is, of course, a risk, so I would definitely go and get a blood test, make sure that you do have a deficiency, because there is a risk of having too much vitamin D if you take it in a supplement form. So please just be careful with the amount that you're taking in. Rather just get a blood test to get that checked. But without the sun exposure, you are at risk of being in a vitamin D deficiency. So I would definitely look into that.
Very interestingly, one of my good friends who I run with a lot is a GP here, and she often does blood tests for people, as you imagine. And
Mhm.
she said she has never yet had somebody. This was in Edinburgh actually. She has never yet had someone who's come back with a normal level of vitamin D. Everyone has or is deficient in vitamin D. Just she that's just a thing.
Yeah.
So I think you can't go too far wrong with supplementing your
And
vitamin D.
And you're spot on, Nikki. And actually, I would go so far. I mean, I have friends here in South Africa who are religious about, and of course, putting on sun cream, to protect yourself from the sun is important. I'm not saying we mustn't put on sun cream, but they are so religious with sun cream, so they're not actually getting that sun exposure
Right.
naturally either,
Uh-huh.
because they are meticulous with putting on sun cream. And of course, we need to make sure that we are preventing skin cancers and all the rest. That is really important. But it just shows that even in South Africa, so even if you come from a country that does get a lot of sun exposure, so even if you live in, in the south of France, or in South Africa, or in Australia, you go and get those levels checked to see if you are at a deficiency. And like you say, for the most part, they probably are. So yeah, I think every single female should get those levels checked to make sure that they're not in a vitamin D deficiency, for sure.
Yeah, definitely really help towards your running there as well. So that's a good vit to
Yeah.
get. It's actually a hormone, isn't it? Vitamin D. So it's a hormone.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a mineral. So, and vitamin D combined with vitamin K is really good for bone health, and that's also why we highly recommend this for females going through menopause with the loss of estrogen and looking after our bones. So, yeah, so if you can get, and very often those are sold as a combination, so
Yeah,
in one supplement, which is great. So, yeah, I would look into that for sure.
excellent.
Okay, all right, that was a very very cool episode that flew by. Yeah,
Cool.
and Christmas time on the way, Nikki. So I hope that you have a lovely Christmas time with you and your family and
Yes.
your friends, and to all our listeners as well. If you do celebrate Christmas, if that is something that you celebrate, I hope you have a blessed time with your family and your friends as well. Stay safe over
Yes.
this festive season. look after each other, look after yourselves, and yeah, we'll be back next
See
week.
you in the new year, I guess. Or is it, have we got one episode
I think we
before?
might have one more next week, and then yeah, and then the new year, and then we start again. New Year's
Nice.
resolutions and running goals and all the rest. So yeah, excited, looking
All
forward
right.
to it.
Brilliant. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And see you next week. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.